Hello and welcome to Lesser Homes and Gardens. I am Nancy Cope, and today I wanted to do something just slightly different, although I think this is our fourth video, so how different can it really be? Everything is new. But yesterday was the annual Hunterdon County Library Book Fair, which is not far from me, and they do a huge book sale of donated books. Some friends of mine and I go every year. And usually I come home with quite a few Better Homes and Gardens books, although we are going to be graced with the presence of, come here, bud. Come here. Come here. Perhaps not. Oh, we are going to be graced with the presence of Jeremy. Can you say hi to all of our people, all of our friends? He's purring if you can't hear it. But this year I came home with 4 books, which is less than I've been coming home with. And some of that is because my collection is getting kind of large. And I found tons of other Better Homes and Gardens books that would have been in my time frame, but unfortunately I already had them. So these are the choice jewels that are being added to the collection. To start with, we have the Needlepoint book from, I believe it is 1978. And this has a lot of instructions on cross stitch and needlepoint. We have some lovely suggestions for crafts. This is actually quite a cute little welcome mat. Hi, bud. Are you being helpful? Lots of actual charts and graphs to allow you to do these. And generally speaking, most of it looks pretty cute. There are, of course, a few pieces of nightmare fuel in there. Why? There was another piece that I was looking at that I was just like, oh, for your terrifying Christmas needs. So it's a mixed bag, but we have the Needlepoint book from 1978, which is a lovely addition to the collection. While we're going through these, I thought it would also be fun to talk about some of the tips and tricks or things that help me when collecting, especially since I've just implemented all of them on this search at the book sale yesterday. And one of them is I have all of my books listed out, the title, the date of copyright, and a sort of vague description of the condition they're in. My descriptions are either fine or could be better. And then that way, if I find something when I'm out looking, I can pull up the Excel document on my phone. I can look and see, do I have this book? If I have it, is it in good condition, or could I maybe most of mine are in pretty decent condition. I'm not super picky, but if it's literally falling apart in my hands, it would be nice to replace it with something a little bit less coming apart in my hands. And that has been a huge lifesaver, especially if you're doing something like a book sale where they have it on the fairgrounds in a barn and it's just full of tables of books. They have it grouped by genre. So you're going through all of the gardening books or all of the home improvement books or all of the cooking books. And you may find a bunch of things. And when you have almost 100 books, it's hard to remember exactly which ones you have. So I highly recommend making yourself a list. Having it electronic has been very helpful for me because as I add books to it, it's very easy to keep it alphabetized. And it's also very important to have the copyright date because my best example is I have 4 barbecue books, but they're completely different. So if I just know that I have a barbecue book, I would miss out on potentially another book that I actually don't have. It's important to know that I have a barbecue book from 1950, 1960, 1970, etc. So on to our next new acquisition. This one's really fun for me. This is Storage Projects You Can Build. It is from, let me check the copyright date, Jer, could you? Thank you. 1977. And one of the things I love about this book is one, it's my first paperback. Thank you. Most of the ones of this sort of format that I find are hardback. That could just be, those are the ones that last and don't fall apart. But also, I love any time we add a book that is not a cookbook. I love our cookbooks. They are so much fun. They are hilarious, but they are definitely the majority of what's in the collection. And there are so many other goodies out there that it's nice to add to it. 1970s storage you can build. We've got a whole map of a house and where you can put more storage. We've got directions for things like sliding spice racks. Ooh, these little like cabinets. If any of you have seen a lot of like small space or how to get more storage out of your home, you've probably seen a lot of these solutions, but there are a lot of they have instructions for this built in. So it's very fun. We will probably do a more in-depth flip through later. Although even as I flip through this the first time, small pieces of corners of paper are coming off. So this one might be we might hope to replace this in a hardback eventually, because this one does seem a lot more fragile. And then next is a book that I already own, but not in this format. And it is the Better Homes and Gardens sewing book. I believe it is from 1962. First copyright 1961. There's a second copyright in 1970. So this was probably printed after 1970, but was originally published in 1960. Just look at that beautiful cover. And one of the fun things about this, and one of the reasons I went ahead and bought it, even though I technically own it in a normal bound copy, is it is a 3-ring binder. This was something that they did with a lot of their books in the 60s. I have a copy of the Better Homes and Gardens new cookbook. Jared, he's biting it. Don't do that. That is like this. I also have Better Homes and Gardens new garden book that is like this. And I think the intent is so that you can add things to it, but it is quite fun. Has all these lovely little tabs. We have instructions on cutting out a dress. I want to show you some of the beautiful pictures. We will definitely do a more in-depth flip through of this at some point, but I was really excited to find it in this format. It's very, I think, just very cool. It's got a lot of instructions on how to make all sorts of things. So, and I just love the cover. And then the last one was probably, I was most excited to get. It is not in the best condition. There are some places where the cover is cracking a little bit. So I will be very delicate with it. But this is a book that I've known has existed because if you search vintage Better Homes and Gardens on the internet, you will find it often, usually for at least $10, $15. But I got this for $2. And it is the Better Homes and Gardens Handyman's book. From, I believe it is from, first copyright date is 1951. My last copyright date is 1966, so this was probably printed somewhere after 1966, but you can tell by the photos that that's some beautiful 1950s photography right there. Look at Dad and his adoring son doing some work in the garage and Jeremy's tail brushing by briefly. It's fun. This is definitely something that I'm super happy to add to the collection. As you've probably noticed already, it is also one of these fun little 3-ring, it's more than 3 rings, but ring binder format. The illustrations are great. It has instructions on regular tools. and power tools. I flipped, when I was flipping through it in the book sale, one of the first pages I fell to was instructions on how to use a screwdriver. So I'll be sure to read that. Perhaps I've been doing it wrong for years, but a lot of this looks like actual reasonably useful information. Obviously the second section on power tools is a little outdated, but you know, there's a lot of great stuff to be had here. A lot of information about what type of wood to use for a project, plumbing. And again, this is one of my favorite things to pick up these days because I don't have nearly as many. I've now I went from having 0 home improvement books or DIY books, and now I have Build Your Own Storage and the Handyman's book. I mean, I suppose you could also count, I have several other home decor books, or home decor under $100 probably counts as well. But like, these are just a little bit fewer and farther between than the cookbooks. So it's just super nice to find them. And I was absolutely thrilled to find a copy of this for $2. So those are my most recent acquisitions. Leave me a comment for which one of these you like best, or which one you would like to see a full flip through first. Which one are you voting for, Jeremy? Handyman? Jeremy votes for Handyman. If you second, please let me know with a hearty meow in the comments. And have a great week, and I will see you guys soon.